This is the day of Halloween, the afternoon of Halloween, and I just wanted to sit here and make this little video here to just be like a memorial or something like that. I don't know how you would say it is, but yeah, here we go. This is October 31st, Halloween of 2021, and I am just sitting here thinking about scary things because it is October 31st, Halloween. Well, I have this little story here for those who may watch this video, and for those who may not watch this video, I don't give a shit. But anyway, here we go. The story about my thoughts of Halloween this year. Well, this story is not about me or anyone else but my mother. Well, my mother was born on October. Well, she died on October. She died around this time, and it has been a long time now. But I am sitting here thinking about my mother on October 31st, the month that she was born and the month that she passed away. My mom used to tell us all kinds of scary stories, and we do believe to this day that they are true. So for you guys out there that watch this video and don't understand about demons and spirits, I'll just fill you in on a little bit of my experiences. Well, this experience of my mom dying on Halloween has just made me think about how spirits work, how they entwine with our everyday activities, which we just don't realize that they're around us. Well, some of those just don't realize on the day of Halloween that you should be very, very careful. All of those people out there doing crazy things nowadays, you should just realize there are spirits involved in your everyday activities. So on this Halloween 2021, I am here telling this weird and odd story of spiritual activities. It started out when I was a young kid. I was about 5 years old or so, maybe a little bit older. But I remember this like it happened yesterday. I was upstairs in an upstairs part of the house. My sister and I were sleeping on one of them fold out hideaway beds that go inside of the couch. We were in the front room sleeping. Well, for some reason I woke up and I seen Indians in what looked to be as cowboys in the Western movies. I was laying there beside my sister. I shook her and I kept saying, "Sissy, wake up, wake up," and she would not wake up. It seemed like there was no way that she could hear me, and it seemed like I was yelling out of the top of my lungs. And no reaction out of her. She laid there. Well, anyway, I'm laying there, and I'm just a little kid, and it is very traumatizing. If you was ever to see what I have seen, you will probably go crazy. But I seen Indians and cowboys. I seen the Trail of Tears. And I was a young boy. I was about 5 years old, maybe a little bit older. I was laying there and I watched the Indians and the cowboys go through my upstairs apartment, which would be considered, I guess, the house was like two halves. Well, the house is in Clinton, Illinois, DeWitt County. The address on the house was 517 West Washington. The house has been redone and everything since we moved out. But anyway, 517 West Washington. I was upstairs laying on the hideaway bed with my sister, and I seen cowboys and Indians going through my upstairs. There was a kitchen off to the left, and then there was the living room where we were at. You walk through the kitchen and through the living room, and then there was a bedroom off to the other side. And there's another bedroom in the house upstairs, but we're not on that detail of the other rooms. We were on the detail of the upstairs kitchen and living room through the bedroom. I was laying there on the hideaway bed beside my sister, laying there on my back, and I was looking forward and seeing the Indians and cowboys marching to the house. There were Indian men, there were Indian women carrying their babies. On their back, they call them a papoose. The Indian women had the papoose, and they were strapped to their back in leather bags that went over their head, and you could see them really close. I was maybe 5 feet away from them, and I could see the horses with cowboys on them, and they made the Indians walk side by side. Some Indians were on horses, but most of them were on foot. There would be about 15 or 20 of them in a group. And there were hundreds of them, though. There were hundreds of them. There were like 15 or 20 of them in a group, and they would have a soldier in between them, and the soldiers behind them and in front of them. And they were marching right through my kitchen and living room onto the bedroom. Well, at the end of the line, I don't know if everyone has seen pictures of Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam was in pictures where he would be pointing at you and he would say, "I want you to fight for us in war." Not in those words, but he would say that he wanted you to come fight for him. At the end of the line, after seeing hundreds, I would say hundreds and hundreds of Indians and cowboys dressed up, perfectly, like they were going through a movie. On the Trail of Tears. I know it was the Trail of Tears. But at the end of the Trail of Tears, the end of the line of people, Uncle Sam stopped and he turned and looked at me. He had this hat on that was my dad's. My dad had this hat. He used to call it a Billy Jack hat. Well, anyway, my dad had that hat and he had a gold band around it with a feather sticking out of the top. Well, Uncle Sam turned and looked at me, and he had my dad's hat on. I put it on my life. I don't know how to swear on it. I would not swear, but I put it on my life. It is honest to God's truth. I would not tell no lies. He stood there and he stared at me like he was challenging me to get up out of that bed and come over and try to get my dad's hat or something. I don't know if he was trying to call me to my death. I don't know if he was just watching me for the day that I die, studying me to take me. But I believe that Uncle Sam was a soul collector. That is the only explanation I have for the Trail of Tears and the Indians and cowboys going through my house. I'll say it again. He stood at the end of my bed, and it seemed like It was 5 or 10 minutes. I don't know how long it actually was. I tried shaking my sister, and by the time he stood there at the end of the bed and stared at me with my dad's hat on, with a gold band around his hat and a feather in it, I could not move. I was so terrified, all I could do was just sit there. Well, I didn't even sit there. I laid there. I lay there motionless. I could not move. All I know is he stood there at the end of the bed and stared at me like he was wanting my soul or something. I don't have any explanations about spiritual stuff, but my family have been through spiritual things. We've all had spiritual encounters, and I still believe to this day that Uncle Sam was a soul collector. I don't know if Uncle Sam was at my house the day that my best friend died in my bathroom. My best friend, Jake Smith. I'm not going to get into any more of details of telling you his name, but he lived with me and he was my best friend. He went to our bathroom and he was in the bathroom, and when we found him, he was laying in the bathroom. Well, anyway, that morning my mom come beating on my door telling me that my best friend was not answering and he would not let her go use the bathroom. Well, I went and knocked on the door and everything. I went to open the door. The door opened 6 inches. And it slammed back in my face. And it was like someone was standing there at the door and would not let me in. At this time, I told my girlfriend, I said, call 911. She called 911. And the EMTs came in. And I told them, I said, we can't get in the bathroom. We can't get in there. And they pushed on the door, and it was like someone was against the door. You could not get in the bathroom at all. And we're trying to get in the bathroom. It's like somebody standing there, and the EMT guy had to run outside, and he grabbed a crowbar. We got the door just cracked enough to ram the crowbar in, and the EMT guy is trying to pry on this door. The door pushes in. It pushes in. It does not push out. You can't pull it open. Well, we're trying to get it open. We can't push it forward. And we don't know if he's in front of the door or anything. And we're like, we can't get in. And the EMT guy grabs the crowbar and he jams it in the door. And there's 3 of us standing there. There's 2 of them trying to grab the door and open it. We get it far enough open, and they can't budge the door. They can't get it. The guys they're not as big as I am anyway. And I don't know how it happened, but anyway, I grabbed the whole of the door myself and ripped it backwards through the hinges. We ripped the door out backwards through the hinges. My best friend was laying there, and his feet were not even near the door. There was no way that he could be pushing the door. Something was in the bathroom with him. I don't know if it was Uncle Sam. I don't know. All I know is there was a spirit in the bathroom with him. This house is right next to a church. And if my friends ever see this video, then they'll know where I'm talking about. It's on Clay Street. I can't remember the address. But it's on Clay Street in Clinton, Illinois. Right behind a church. Well, anyway, my best friend died. And the EMTs tried to tell us that he died in the bathroom. I mean, he didn't. They tried to tell us that he died in the living room. We seen him in the bathroom. His face was completely purple, black looking. His feet were white, completely white. Unbelievable. He's the first one that I have ever seen die, and he affects me to this day. He's my best friend. We found him in our bathroom. We tried to open the door and everything. I yelled, no response and everything. At that time, I was yelling for my girlfriend to call 911. She called 911. They came in. Like I said, the EMTs had to put a pry bar in the door, and I ended up being the one to rip the door off backwards through the hinges. The hinges and everything. I busted the whole door frame, ripped it out. We found him laying in there. He was black. His feet were white. And there was one speck of blood on his lips. I hate to tell this story. It's very sad to me. And it affects us. I mean, it affects my friends and it affects his parents. And you should never have to put your child in the ground. I've had other friends die and their parents should have never put them in the ground and everything. But my best friend died in this house. And there's other spirits in the house. My girlfriend witnessed one. She witnessed a couple occasions in there. Before my best friend Jake died in the house and everything, I witnessed some weird things. I used to sleep in the basement. My grandma had a room upstairs and my mom had a room upstairs. Anyway, I just told you Jake died in the house. I should have started the story with the spirits in the house and everything. But he died in the house. It was very strange. I don't understand to this day. We believe he had a heart attack. I believe there was a soul collector in that bathroom with him. There was something in the bathroom that would not allow us to open the door to see what was going on. I still today don't know how he died, but I believe it was a massive heart attack. We found him in the bathroom. The EMTs got him out of the bathroom. I only seen him pump twice on his chest before they took him out of the bathroom. They pulled him out in our living room and told us all we had to go outside. We went outside. EMTs called the cops and the coroner and everything, and they showed up. And we were outside, and my best friends showed up, and I had to tell them that their brother had passed away. It really affects me to this day. And I told them that they had taken him already. They asked me how he died and everything, and we did not know what happened. And I know that there was a spirit in the bathroom that would not let us in there. There was no other way in the bathroom, just the bathroom door. There's no way out. You had to pull the door to get in and out. I mean, you had to pull the door in the bathroom to get out. So when you went to go to the bathroom, you had to push the door into the bathroom. You went to get out of the bathroom, you had to pull the door into you. I had to rip the door out to me in the hallway. After they had stuck a pry bar in there and pried the door open far enough to get my hands in there. I got my hands in there and ripped the door off the hinges, and the EMTs were standing right beside me. My girlfriend was standing behind me. She looked down and seen his feet and his face, and she said, "Oh my God, his feet are white." And I looked over and seen his face, and I realized that he had passed. Dunn said, "Oh my God, he's dead." And the EMTs hit him on his chest twice and took him out there in the living room and made us leave out to the outside yard. And I don't know how long it took. It took them maybe an hour, maybe, I don't even know. It seemed like forever. And there was a police officer there that had harassed me in the past, and he has arrested me because he couldn't arrest me for something. He got me arrested for illegal consumption of alcohol by a minor because he tried to get me for stealing a purse, and I didn't steal that. But anyway, this ain't Detective Geese's story anyway. He's out there asking me questions, Geese is, and everything. I told him straight up, I think my friend died from that fake marijuana. And I do believe that is part of it. And I told him straight up, I believe that He died from that fake marijuana. Anyway, they were questioning us and everything. And then they hauled my buddy out in a bag. I I am still fucked up to this day because I have seen so many spiritual things and, and I don't understand. I can't explain what happened, why we couldn't open the door to get in there and try to save him or anything. But there's spirits in the house, and I believe they're still in the house today. I believe that they may be stuck in the house. But I'm going to keep on about Jake's story real quick. I came up here to Missouri, where I'm living now, with my girlfriend to visit her family after my buddy had died. And I got a phone call up here. We were staying up here to visit, like I said, her kids and everything, and her family. I got a call at maybe 1 o'clock in the morning. My mom called me hysterical, telling me that I needed to come home. I'm like, what do you mean I need to come home? She's like, Jake is here. I said, Mom, Jake's dead. She said, Jake is here. He wants you. He keeps saying that he needs to talk to you. Something's wrong. Well, I told my mom, I said, I can't go there right now. I'm up here and it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I can't go. Well, she sat there and she was talking to him. And he told me something was wrong and he was scared. He needed to talk to me. Well, my mom finally sat there and told him, she's like, Jake, you passed away. You got to go to heaven. She's like, Jake, you died in the bathroom and you need to go to heaven. And he talked to her for a while and then he got up and he left. Got up and he walked out of the house. Well, I have not had any contact from him or anything, but I told him my beliefs before he had ever died and everything. I told him my beliefs on heaven and stuff, and I told him if he goes the way that I said that I was going, and wherever he may end up, I'm going to go too. Well, it's the same thing I've told my mom and my dad and everyone that I care about and love. I believe that there's gates when I die. Like they talk about in heaven, there's gates to heaven and hell. And I do believe that there's greediness in life and everything. When I die, I'm not going to be greedy. If there's a narrow passage I have to go through, that's where I'm going. If there's a wide passage and there's a narrow passage, I'm going to take the narrow. As of in gates, I'm taking the narrow gate. I believe I'm going to go to heaven, and that's what I told him, and that's what I told my mom and my dad and everyone that I care about. But Jake died in the house, and I didn't think that maybe he could have been in the house, but I believe that he went to heaven. I believe he believed in heaven, and he believed that he was going to go to heaven. He was going to church and everything before he passed on, and I believe he's going to heaven. I believe he's already there with my mom and my grandparents and all his family that's gone and all the loved ones that we all have. But not only for Jake dying in the house and everything, it's a very weird circumstance to me that he was in the bathroom and we couldn't get in. Well, after Jake died, and my mom ended up saying that she was going to go to Pennsylvania to go live with my kids. My mom got on an airplane, and she should have never got on an airplane. Anyway, I'm a pothead. I've always been one. My mom has been a pothead, and my friends have been potheads, and I'm not going to get into details about anyone else. And I have nothing bad to say about my people. I love them with all my heart. My mom decided she was going to get on an airplane and go be with the kids, and it was in October. In October, my mom got on an airplane that morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. She got on an airplane, and by 4 o'clock that afternoon, my mom was there with the kids, and she had died in front of them. And this is October right now. This is Halloween. My mom isn't on the story here, so Halloween. My mom was going to be up there for Halloween with the kids and everything. She was going to go move in with them and sent stuff out to be with them. Shipped all of her stuff out that she wanted. She got on the airplane out there and she died in front of them. Laid there and had a massive heart attack after flying on the plane. My ex-wife was doing CPR on her, and she died in front of them and everything. And by 4 o'clock, I got a phone call. And she was hysterical. I thought my mom had left her medicine. She'd always went up there and forgot something. It's her diabetes medicine. Figured she called to tell me that I needed to ship medicine again or something. She called hysterical and told me my mom was gone. And I couldn't understand what she was saying. I told her that she had to calm down. And to give her as much comfort as I could, and comfort her and keep my shit together. So anyway, she flew up there and died, and then a couple weeks later and shit, we had her cremated. And before I got her ashes, well, I didn't even get her ashes, my aunt ended up with them. But before I ended up going to get my mom's ashes, I got rid of some stuff that she left behind. I didn't want any memory of her dying and all that. I got rid of some stuff, and my mom came in the house like she was coming back from a trip. This is really crazy. She had died, and I knew she was dead, and had arrangements for her cremation and all this shit. Anyway, she came in the front door like she was coming back from a trip. I couldn't believe this. She came in hollering at me like she had already been in the house before she came back. But she come in the house like she's coming from a trip. Didn't have nothing with her. She come in the front door. Heard somebody coming in the front door. I walked out in the hallway. Here comes my mom down the hallway, started hollering at me. She's like, "Matthew, where's all my shit? Where's all my shit, Matthew?" I said, "Mom, you're not supposed to be here." She's like, "Where's all my shit?" Started yelling at me, getting really mad. You could tell she was mad. And you could see her like she was in person, skin. You could see her. You wasn't seeing through her or nothing. She starts yelling at me, calling me Matthew. Says, where's all my shit, Matthew?" I said, "Mom, you're dead. You're not supposed to be here." She followed me into her bedroom, where I done got rid of some of her shit. She came in, she knew what was going on. She knew that I was getting rid of her stuff. She went in and sat down at her desk. And I went in and knelt down on her bed. Her bed was 2 mattresses laying down on the floor by the window. I went over and put my head down and I started praying to God. I said, "Please, God, take her to heaven." And she was sitting there at the desk, throwing a fit, real mad and stuff. I knelt down, put my head down, and prayed to God to take her. And when I got back up, my mom was gone. Well, after that, my girlfriend came home from work one day. She went to go let herself in the house, and there was a chair, a recliner chair that we had in the living room. It was flipped over in front of the door. She's like, "Well, this is really odd." Moved the chair and went in Went in the kitchen and there was dishes stacked out. There was dishes laid out in the floor. There was plates and silverware, just one here, one there, and stacked all the way across the floor. Well, I know there's spirits in the house. I already knew this anyway. She comes home and finds this shit. She's like, what's going on? Somebody's playing a trick on her or something, you know? That's probably her first thought. I really don't know what her thoughts are. But she won't say she believes in spirits, but she done seen it. She can't say she hasn't. Seen this furniture flipped over and dishes stacked out on the floor and shit. She tells me about it. I was like, oh, okay, whatever, you know, just blow it off, you know. You don't give them knowledge. If you don't give them knowledge, they don't mess with you. That's for real, though. They don't fuck with you. If they can't get the knowledge that they're there, they won't mess with you. Anyway, by that time, she's already freaked out, you know. It's just us two living in the house now. Well, she sees that shit, and then another time she comes running in the fucking bedroom. She went out there to the kitchen. She's like, Matt, there's somebody in here. There's somebody in here. I just seen somebody in here. I got up and went in there. Nobody's in there. She told me somebody was standing in there on the way down to the basement. I'm like, well, I tell you, I know about spirits and everything, and I have been haunted. I've seen so many spirits that nobody will ever see in their life until you die. And I'm telling this from my experience, and I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, it's true. But she's seen the spirit and everything, and she was freaked out. By the time it started doing shit to her, she got scared enough she wouldn't go in the house without me in there. She was so scared of the bathroom and shit. Before my mom died and everything, they were both scared to go in the bathroom by themselves. And anyway, she sees it and everything, tells me about it. And another time she's in there by herself in our bedroom. All of a sudden, out of the middle of nowhere, a roll of wrapping paper, Christmas wrapping paper, comes flying in the bedroom and hit her in the head. She said she got so scared she went outside and waited until I got home. Well, that's not even the beginning of the story. Ghosts are real. I don't care what people believe, and like I said, I don't care who sees this and knows that my best friend's name was Jake Smith and he died in my bathroom. But anyway, I'm working my way back to the beginning of the spiritual activities that I've noticed in this house over there on Clay Street. Well, she got hit by wrapping paper and everything. She was scared. That was after my grandmother had died that lived in the house. Well, working way back to Grandma, seeing Grandma. She was in her bed sleeping, but I seen my grandma get up and she'd never got out of her bed. I seen her get up wearing a nightgown that had flowers on it, and it was a yellow and multicolored like nightgown with flowers on it. I watched her go down to the basement where I used to sleep. She went down to the basement and she never came back up. So I told my mom, I was like, Mom, you better go check on your mom. She went down to the basement. I've never seen her come back up. Well, she went to the bedroom and her mom was in there sleeping. She's like, she's in there sleeping. I said, I know, I just seen her go down to the fucking basement. She went to the basement and never came back up. She was in her bed sleeping the whole time. People talk about doppelgangers and all these other weird spiritual things, cryptids. Maybe they are cryptids. Who knows? But I'm telling you, from my experiences, spirits are real. And anyway, all these things happened to her and all these other people and all these things. And my friend died in there and he coming back and telling my mom that he needed to talk to me and all this stuff. I seen my grandma walk to the basement. She never came up. I slept in the basement. I used to sleep in there. But anyway, I was sleeping on my bed one night. I went down and I seen this lady down there doing a pose that looked like a Playboy pose. If you've ever seen a Playboy, you've seen a lady where she has her arms behind her and she has her legs all cocked up and all this crap. I seen a lady laying on the ledge like that in the basement. Closed my eyes, opened them up. She was there. I just went to sleep. It's like, it ain't gonna bother me, you know. They don't bother me. I've never been affected really, but I've also been hit by ghosts. I'm not getting into that, but my friend died in the house. We've seen all these things in the house. My mom died in Pennsylvania. She came back from Pennsylvania. Had no idea how her spirit got back from Pennsylvania. But your spirit can move anywhere you want to go. You're not stuck. You're not stuck in one place. Like, people wonder why a haunted house is active at one time and then another time is not active. I just told you the reason why is because spirits are not just stuck in one place. When you die, you could go anywhere in the world that you decided to go. You have a choice to go to heaven and hell and all that, I guess. I don't know how that works. I'll find that out when I die. But like I said, this is Halloween. And I just wanted to tell y'all how I felt about spiritual stuff and let you know my thoughts. My thoughts about spirits. I know they exist and everything, and I don't care if people believe anything that I said. This is October 31st, 2021, and this is my story, and I don't care who believes it. I experienced it, and everyone that I say that has experienced the things that they experienced, they told me they experienced, so I have no other reason to doubt that, because I've seen the things in my life, and I'm not going to deny any of it, and I'm not going to say that someone else has not seen what they say they have seen. I know that it is very possible. Thank you for watching my video. Happy Halloween.